today's meditation practice is one I've used and been so grateful for in the past. It's not exactly traditional in Tibetan Buddhism, but it uses the power of visualization to practice leaving this lifetime in the way you choose, doing some kind of spiritual practice, like using a mantra or settling the mind on the breath, or holding an inspiring figure or ancestor in mind. In a later episode, I'll share the way I've used this type of meditation and the reasons I think it'll actually help me when my time comes to move on from this body. Spoiler alert, one reason is what my mind did when I thought I was gonna die in Tibet. All right, y'all, let's meditate. Welcome to Letting Grow, the podcast about one of the spiritual journey's most difficult and courageous moments, letting go of who we think we should be so we can grow into who we most deeply are. I'm your host, Claire Villarreal, and I appreciate your joining me today. Let's begin the meditation with settling in, preferably lying down, but you can sit up if you prefer. We can feel the contact between the body and whatever we're resting on, allowing ourselves to be supported. The sense of relaxing and letting reality support us is really important during this meditation. So see if you can feel your body getting heavy, relaxed, grounded. Whatever you're resting on is ultimately supported by the earth itself. So see if you can feel that support for your physical body coming from the earth, allowing you to relax and be held. Now we'll check in with the different areas of the body, scanning each of them for tension or tightness, and inviting them to relax. So feel into the head and face, noticing where you might be tight. Often we hold tension around the eyes or in the jaws. So if you find that the muscles there are tight, just invite them to relax. You might feel the tension draining out of the muscle, like letting the air out of a bike tire, and noticing it get softer. Now the attention can flow down into the neck and throat, feeling for any tightness there. If you find some tightness in the muscles, invite it to release. Next, we feel down into the muscles of the shoulders, another place where we often carry tension in the body. Once again, we simply invite the muscles to relax, and maybe they get softer and release. Now the attention can flow down into the chest and the upper back, again feeling for any excess tension and inviting it to relax, inviting it to dissolve. Now the attention flows down into the upper abdomen and the mid-back. And again, we feel into any tightness in the muscles there. We invite that tension to release, and maybe the muscles get softer. And the attention flows down now into the lower abdomen and the lower back. Once again, feeling into the muscles located in those areas that might be tense. Just invite them to relax. Now we'll allow the mind to settle in the lower abdomen, at the energy center that in Chinese martial arts is called the Dantian, or you might know it as the sacral chakra. It's a few finger widths below the navel and a few finger widths inside the body. Let's simply rest the attention there, letting the mind settle, feeling the support of whatever is beneath us, the support that's ultimately coming from the earth itself. Once the body and mind are feeling settled, we can turn to the main part of the meditation, which is using the imagination to train ourselves for what we'd like to do as we begin to leave this lifetime. We can imagine that our life has been long and happy, and that we're at a point when we're ready to let go. We can imagine that our life has been long and happy, and that we're at a point where we're ready to go. We can imagine that our life has been long and happy, and that we're at a point where we're ready to go. First of all, take a moment and reflect. What would you like the circumstances to be like at that time? Do you want to be surrounded by family, or with only a few fellow practitioners, or maybe with your spiritual guides there? What would you like? Who would you like to have with you? And what would you like the environment to be like? Do you want music playing, or do you prefer it to be quiet? Would you like candles or incense? What would be the best set of circumstances for you to feel relaxed and inspired for your final journey? Now that we've reflected on the external circumstances, what would you like your internal circumstances to be? Would you want to say a mantra, or hold a spiritual figure in mind, or think of ancestors or relatives who have passed over and are ready to welcome you? It could be something as simple as resting the mind on the breath and staying attuned to the present moment. So bring to mind one specific practice or person that you'd like to hold in your heart as you approach your transition from this lifetime to the next. And now imagine that in that setting, you're holding in mind the one thing that you want to focus on as you pass. Imagine yourself saying that mantra, resting the attention on the breath, holding your spiritual teacher in mind, or whatever you're making aspirations to do in your imagined scenario. And in this imagined scenario, your body begins to shut down, and one by one, your senses go dim. So imagine that your eyesight dims, and you can no longer see the people around you clearly. Next, your sense of hearing goes. Then your sense of smell shuts down. Finally, taste and even our sense of touch goes. And as each of these goes, it naturally might be unsettling. You might experience some fear. But let's see if you can hold your mind on what you've chosen to focus on. Your mantra, your mindfulness, a spiritual figure, or your ancestors who are guiding you through the process of leaving this body. In this training simulation, so to speak, see if you can rest your mind on that person or that practice. Eventually, even your ability to form conceptual thoughts is gone. See if, in your imagination, you can relax or release into what's becoming an increasingly spacious, non-conceptual, non-dual state of existence. As you leave behind this body and this ordinary mind, what's beginning to open up is your ultimate nature. Can you relax into that? Eventually, your ultimate nature fully manifests as radiance, as the divine within yourself beyond all words, beyond all expression. Of course, it's beyond our imagination, but whatever you can imagine is a good start. See if you're able to be present to that. Once you can no longer stay with that sense of openness and radiance, return your attention to the present moment, to your body lying or sitting relaxed in your practice place. Did you learn anything by imagining yourself at the time of leaving this body? Did your object of meditation help you? Would you like to practice with the same one next time, or try something different? As you gradually come out of this meditation, You can wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes, maybe take a note on what happened for you. What worked for you in this practice and what didn't? So the next time you can either deepen your experience with the same object of meditation or try something different. And finally, let's close this meditation with an aspiration. When it comes time for me to leave this lifetime, may I do so with as little fear and pain as possible, and with as much curiosity and openness as possible. Thanks for coming along for today's exploration of the process of letting go. If you found this episode helpful, please share it. And subscribe now so you're always in the loop. For links to more content related to today's episode, please see the show notes. See you again next week.